Just as the dust seemed to be settling, the reputation of one of Jiu-Jitsu's biggest legends, Andre Galvao, is once again in turmoil. For years, Andre Galvao has been an institution in the sport. He's a multiple-time ADCC and IBJJF world champion and the founder of the Atos Jiu-Jitsu team, a global powerhouse. But in early 2025, that legacy began to crack. Allegations of misconduct from a former student sent shockwaves through the BJJ community, triggering a series of high-profile departures, public denials, and an official police investigation. Then, for a moment, it seemed to go quiet. Galvao's legal team announced that prosecutors were declining to file criminal charges, a move they framed as total exoneration. But it wasn't over. In fact, reports have emerged that other women have come forward with their own stories of harassment, suggesting a disturbing pattern of behavior. To understand why this controversy has had such a massive impact, we have to go back to early 2026 and the first public accusation, which came from Alexa Hurst. Hurst wasn't just any student. She was an Atos lifer, having trained there since she was a child. In her own words, "I once looked up to him not only as my professor, but as a hero and a father figure." This long-standing relationship is what made her public break from the team so shocking. Alexa Hurst posted a detailed multi-slide statement on social media, announcing she was leaving Atos and describing a pattern of alleged abuse. She outlined a 6-month period of escalating misconduct with specific and disturbing claims. She alleged that Galvao touched her inappropriately during training and made repeated unwanted comments about her body. She described a pattern where Galvao would allegedly interrupt her training with other people to make her roll only with him. During these rolls, she alleged he made sexual moaning sounds in her ear while in dominant positions. In one of the most jarring details, she claimed that while their heads were close together, he licked her ear. Her statement also alleged an institutional cover-up. She claimed she went for help to Angelica Galvao, Andre's wife, a woman she saw as a mentor who had known her since she was a child. According to Hurst, her concerns were dismissed. She alleges Angelica told her, "If it's wrong, you have to at least act like it's right, and don't bite the hand that feeds you." For Hurst, that response made Angelica just as responsible for the situation. In her post, Hurst made it clear this was a painful decision, stating, "I never wanted this. I have nothing to gain by making this public. I'm choosing to leave behind all my friends and my family." She ended with a chilling line, "This is my truth, and I know for a fact that I am not the only affected person of this." She also confirmed she had filed a report with local law enforcement, taking the allegations from social media into the legal system. The legal outcome and the denial. This is where the story gets complicated, and where precise language is absolutely critical. For months, the central question hanging over this controversy was the status of the police investigation initiated by Alexa Hurst's report. Supporters of Galvao pointed to the lack of criminal charges as definitive proof of his innocence. Critics argued that the legal system's outcome doesn't always tell the whole story. Here is what we know from public statements and reporting. The San Diego Police Department investigated the allegations made by Alexa Hurst. Following their investigation, the matter was referred to the San Diego City Attorney's Office for review of potential misdemeanor violations. This is a standard procedure. A lawyer representing Andre Galvao later released a statement confirming that the city attorney's office had officially advised him that they had declined to file charges against Professor Galvao and anticipated no further action. This is the tangible legal outcome that many had been waiting for. Galvao's legal team immediately framed this as a total exoneration. In a statement, their lawyers asserted that after a thorough investigation, authorities had concluded there were no elements capable of supporting any type of criminal charge, and the case was formally closed. The statement described the original complaint as unfounded and without any proof. This is the narrative that Galvao and his supporters have championed. It's important to recognize this language for what it is: advocacy from a defense team, not a neutral judicial finding of fact. This brings us to a crucial distinction that is often lost in public discourse. A prosecutor's decision to decline to file charges is not the same as a court finding someone innocent. To secure a criminal conviction, a prosecutor must believe they can prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt, a very high legal standard. A decision not to proceed can be made for many reasons, including insufficient evidence to meet that high bar. It does not mean that nothing happened. It simply means the evidence available did not support a criminal prosecution. With the city attorney's decision in hand, Andre Galvao began to re-emerge publicly. In a video statement, he announced he was back teaching. He stated that he had proactively cooperated with law enforcement and that he was choosing not to attack anyone, but to trust that the truth will come forward. He portrayed himself as a dedicated leader and mentor, and his return to teaching was presented as a return to normalcy. But as we now know, that normalcy would be short-lived. Just when it seemed the controversy would be defined by a legal stalemate, the story took another dramatic turn. In mid-2026, reports surfaced via BJJ-focused news outlets of a second woman coming forward with accusations against Andre Galvao. This woman, a former competitor at Atos, who has so far remained anonymous, shared a story with striking parallels to Hurst. Her account, published through a journalist, detailed a similar pattern of alleged grooming and abuse of power. She claimed Galvao made persistent, inappropriate comments about her appearance and would frequently isolate her for hard training sessions that crossed professional boundaries. She alleged that Galvao used his authority as the head coach to create an environment where she felt unable to refuse his advances without jeopardizing her position on the team. According to the reports, this second accuser came forward for two main reasons. First, she was emboldened by Hurst's courage. Second, she was dismayed by the narrative of total exoneration that followed the prosecutor's decision not to file charges. She felt this created a misleading impression that the initial allegations were baseless, compelling her to add her own experience to the record. The emergence of a second, independent account fundamentally shifted the public conversation. It undermined the claim that this was an isolated incident or a personal vendetta, and pointed toward a potential pattern of behavior, raising new and more profound questions about the culture at the very top of the Atos organization. So where does this leave us? We are left with a stark, unresolved picture. On one side, you have the decorated legend Andre Galvao, who has vehemently denied all allegations. He is backed by a legal outcome from the San Diego City Attorney's Office, which declined to file a criminal case against him. On the other side, you now have multiple women who have come forward with graphic, detailed, and strikingly similar allegations of harassment and inappropriate behavior. The first accuser has been publicly supported by former teammates, including a highly credible insider like Josh Hinger, who has stated that he believes her. The second accuser's story reinforces the first, suggesting this is not an isolated event. The story of Andre Galvao has become a flashpoint for the entire Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu community. It has forced an uncomfortable reckoning with the unique power dynamics inherent in the sport, where coaches often wield immense, unchecked influence over the lives and careers of their students. The coach-student relationship is built on trust, and these allegations have corroded that trust on a massive scale. This is no longer a simple case of he said, she said. The legal system has stepped away, but the court of public opinion, and more importantly, the court of community trust, is still in session. The emergence of new allegations has made it clear that the questions facing the sport are not going away. What does accountability look like when a pattern of accusations emerges without a criminal finding? And how can the jiu-jitsu world ensure the safety and trust of its athletes when one of its most powerful empires appears so deeply fractured? This story is far from over. We will continue to follow the facts as they develop. But now, I want to hear from you. This is a complex and sensitive issue that affects the entire BJJ community. What are your thoughts on this situation? Let me know your perspective respectfully in the comments below.